spend enough time behind the wheel, and the road starts whispering to you. Most truckers will tell you stories of bad weather, faulty brakes, or close calls with wildlife. But what happened to me on Route 73? That was something else. Something that doesn't sit in the realm of broken taillights or potholes. Something alive and waiting. It was a cold, misty night in early November. I was hauling a light trailer out of Casper, Wyoming. Dispatch assigned me a back road route, Route 73, a lesser-used stretch slicing across forested hills. I'd never driven it before, but my GPS promised it would save me 40 minutes. Time is money. I figured, why not? The rig purred as I pulled out of the depot, thermos in hand, tunes playing low on the radio. Just another job. Or so I thought. Half an hour in, I stopped at Redmond's Diner, a weathered building surrounded by wind-blown tumbleweeds and flickering neon lights. Inside, a few locals nursed coffee and stared when I walked in. I filled my thermos and grabbed a sandwich. The cook, an old man with a crooked back and yellowed eyes, asked where I was headed. When I said Route 73, his face tightened. "Some miles don't want to be driven," he mumbled. I chuckled nervously, thinking he was joking, but no one else in the diner laughed. Back on the highway, something changed. An hour passed, then another. But I kept seeing the same crooked pine trees, the same rusted-out sedan on the shoulder, and the same faded billboard for Big Mike's Fireworks 20 miles ahead. Except I never reached Big Mike's. I circled that stretch of Highway 3 maybe 4 times. I even took a picture of the car. Same license plate. GPS glitched, spinning like a compass lost in the woods. That's when my palms started sweating. Static buzzed through the CB radio. Then whispers, low, raspy ones. I turned the dial, searching for a clear channel. Instead, a chilling voice cut through. "Turn around. Now." I yanked the power cord, silencing it. But the whispers didn't stop. They drifted from the air vents, soft and rhythmic, as if something was inside the cab. I rolled the windows down, desperate for air. The cold wind carried laughter, high-pitched and cruel. I spotted him just beyond the guardrail, tall, gaunt, and motionless. He wore a threadbare black suit. As my headlights hit him, he turned. His face was pale, and where his eyes should have been, there was nothing but smooth skin. He raised a single hand and pointed directly at me. My rig shuddered. The engine coughed like it had swallowed gravel. I slammed on the brakes. When I looked again, he was gone, just vanished. Every clock in the cab stopped at 3:13 a.m. Time froze. The fog outside thickened until the road vanished entirely. My headlights flickered. The dashboard lights dimmed. I tapped the glass of my watch. Nothing. I tried calling dispatch. No signal. My emergency radio crackled, but all I got was one repeated line. "You're already here." Then something tapped on my driver's side window. 3 quick knocks. I didn't turn my head. Out of the fog, shapes emerged. 5 children stood in the middle of the lane. Their eyes were empty, their faces pale. They wore clothes that looked decades old. Patched overalls, frilly dresses, Sunday shoes. I honked the horn. Nothing. They didn't flinch. As I swerved to avoid them, their heads followed the truck in eerie unison. One of them grinned wide enough to show gums. I didn't look back. I passed mile marker 72. Then, darkness. The road ahead became a void. No more signs, no more markers. My headlights revealed only the edge of the fog. It was like driving into nothing. My GPS map was blank. I slowed down, heart pounding. Then the CB came alive. No one escapes mile 73. The cab trembled as if something crawled beneath the chassis. The steering wheel resisted my hands. A sliver of sunlight broke through the mist. Just a crack. but enough to see the end of the fog wall. I floored it. The truck roared as I pushed through. For a second, it felt like hitting water. Dense, cold, suffocating. Then it was gone. Trees looked normal. The sky turned blue. I passed mile marker 74 like waking from a nightmare. The clock ticked. GPS returned. It was over. I delivered the load an hour later, still shaking. The warehouse manager said I looked like I'd seen a ghost. I told dispatch I'd never take that route again. Later, I checked online. No mention of Route 73 anywhere. Redmond's Diner had burned down years ago. I keep the photo of the rusted sedan in my glove box to remind me it was real. Every night at 3:13 a.m., I wake up. Sometimes I hear knocking. I've driven through hurricanes, snowstorms, and Tornado Alley. But Route 73 was different. It wasn't weather. It wasn't man. It was a place outside of time, a trap disguised as a shortcut. And it almost took me. If you're ever near Casper and see a sign for Route 73, turn around, don't look back, and never stop. Route 17 was the kind of road that didn't just feel empty, it felt dead. I'd been driving cross-country hauls for over 15 years, but this particular stretch of asphalt between Denton and Stovall always made the hair on my neck bristle. No cell service, no signs of life, and that fog. It would settle low like a living thing, curling around my rig's tires and muffling even the hum of my engine. That night, as I hit the start of Route 17, I noticed something different. The fog wasn't just thick, it shimmered faintly, like it had a pulse of its own. I should have turned around, but I had a deadline and a truckload of sealed government crates to deliver. Just another job, or so I told myself. As the hours wore on, the radio crackled, my GPS froze, and the silence around me grew too heavy to ignore. My headlights pierced no more than 10 feet ahead, and the road seemed to twist subtly even though it was supposed to be straight. That's when I saw the first shape standing in the fog. I slammed the brakes, tires skidding on slick pavement. The shape didn't move, just stood there, tall, maybe 6.5 feet, limbs too long, posture too rigid. I hit the horn, nothing. I grabbed my flashlight and stepped out. As I approached, the silhouette started to dissolve into the mist, piece by piece, like smoke caught in wind. My beam found nothing. No footprints, no movement. I checked under the truck, around the bushes lining the road. Nothing. Then I noticed something odd. My truck was idling, but the cargo trailer had gone dark. The rear running lights were out. I walked around to inspect, only to find something that froze my blood. Long scratch marks down the length of the trailer. Not from a key or sharp metal. These were deep gouges, like claws. The road was quiet again, and I tried to convince myself I'd imagined it. Back in the cab, I pulled out the sealed manifest. I wasn't supposed to open it, government protocol and all, but fear has a funny way of overriding regulations. The manifest listed 3 crates marked bio-holding, non-organic, whatever that meant, and strict instructions for sealed delivery. But something was scribbled at the bottom, nearly illegible. It looked like a name, Erebus. I stared at it until my eyes burned. I'd never heard that name before, but it felt wrong in my mouth, like a word not meant to be spoken. I started the truck, hoping to outrun the cold knot forming in my chest. That's when the smell hit me, a rotting sweetness, like meat left out too long. And it was coming from the vents. By midnight, I was halfway through the route and starting to nod off. But then I heard them, voices, whispering, not on the radio, not outside the truck, inside the cab. Low, melodic, speaking in a language I didn't recognize. I pulled over, heart pounding, and turned off the engine. The voices stopped. Then came the knock. 3 taps, deliberate, slow. On the back wall of the cab. I didn't want to turn around. I couldn't. But something compelled me. I turned, and nothing was there. But the whispering returned louder now. I opened the door, jumped out, and ran to the back. The cargo seals were untouched, but this time someone, or something, had written on the side in the condensation, "Welcome, Leonard." Back on the road, my hand shook on the wheel. The whispers had faded, but now the fog had thickened into a wall. Then, out of nowhere, lights. A diner, glowing neon red. My relief was short-lived. I pulled in, parked, and entered, only to find it deserted. Tables set, jukebox playing something slow and warped, but not a soul inside. I called out. No answer. Then the door slammed shut behind me. I ran back, locked. The jukebox music slowed to a crawl, distorting until it was just a deep, monstrous hum. A figure stepped from the kitchen, wearing a trucker's uniform like mine, but his eyes were hollow sockets, and his mouth stretched unnaturally wide. "You're late," it rasped. I ran, breaking through the front glass to escape. Back in the truck, bleeding from my arm, I sped off. My CB crackled alive. Finally, contact. Another trucker's voice came through. "You picked up a cursed load, friend." I demanded to know who he was. "No name," he said, "but I've driven Route 17 before. Once. It doesn't let you go until it's had its fill." He explained that others had vanished here, that the road was cursed by something buried beneath it, something awakened when government labs experimented in the nearby hills. He called it the Old Hunger. "I hope you didn't see the funhouse," he said. I hadn't, not yet. It appeared like a dream or a nightmare. An abandoned carnival lot just off the road. Rusted rides, collapsed tents, and at the center, a tall mirrored funhouse. I didn't stop. The truck stopped for me. Engine dead, brakes locked. I was pulled toward it, drawn. The funhouse door creaked open. Inside, mirrors lined every wall, but none showed my reflection. Only shadows moving behind the glass. Then one mirror lit up. My reflection stared back and smiled. It reached out, shattering the glass, and suddenly I was inside the mirror. Watching myself drive away. I don't know how I escaped the mirror. I woke up behind the wheel, the truck driving in reverse, on its own. The fog was now blood red. My GPS showed the same 3-mile stretch repeating. A figure sat beside me now. I didn't look directly at it, but it whispered stories of others who had passed through this place, trapped forever, converted. "Erebus wants drivers," it said. Every few minutes, it changed shape. Sometimes it looked like my wife, sometimes my father. Then it looked like me. I reached a road sign that said, "Exit, 1 mile." I floored it. Whatever was in the truck roared behind me. The trailer began to glow. Then the sign changed. "Exit denied." A storm of whispers hit me like wind, rattling every bone. I screamed. Lights burst overhead. The road split open, cracking like glass. And through it, I saw a black abyss with eyes staring back. I don't know how I made it out. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm still there, driving an endless loop. But my logbook was found days later at a rest stop. The trailer, empty, but the claw marks remained, the smell too. And the name Erebus was burned into the wall of the cargo hold. If you ever find yourself on Route 17, turn back. That road remembers, and it's always hungry.